Number 15. Serbia's dance that unites everyone. At Serbian weddings, festivals, and family celebrations, you may suddenly see people joining hands and moving together in a circle. This is kolo, one of Serbia's most recognizable traditional folk dances. Rather than focusing on a single performer, kolo brings an entire group together, with dancers forming a circle or chain and following coordinated steps to the rhythm of traditional music. What makes kolo fascinating is its communal spirit. Experienced dancers can move alongside younger generations, while the repeating patterns allow the group to function almost like one moving body. Different regions and communities have developed their own variations, with changes in tempo, footwork, and musical accompaniment adding to the tradition's diversity. In 2017, kolo was inscribed on UNESCO's representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The tradition continues to be performed at private and public gatherings today. For visitors, watching a kolo is entertaining, but understanding it reveals something deeper. In Serbia, dance can become a living connection between family, community, and generations of cultural memory. Number 14. Every family has its own holiday. Imagine a tradition so personal that your family has its own special celebration, passed down from one generation to the next. In Serbia, this remarkable custom is called slava, a celebration honoring a family's patron saint. Unlike national holidays shared by an entire country, each household may observe a different saint's day, turning the family home into the heart of the celebration. The tradition is deeply connected to Serbian Orthodox culture and has survived for generations. On Slava Day, relatives and guests gather around the table, while symbolic foods such as slavski kolak, a ceremonial bread, and koljivo, a prepared wheat dish, play an important role in the observance. The celebration combines faith, family memory, hospitality, and a powerful sense of continuity. In 2014, Slava was inscribed on UNESCO's representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. More than just a yearly gathering, it is a tradition through which family identity and cultural values continue to be passed from parents to children. Number 13. Serbia's River of Giant Curves. From high above southwestern Serbia, the Uvjak River looks almost unreal. Instead of flowing in a straight line, its deep blue-green waters twist through towering limestone cliffs in a spectacular series of tight meanders. Some bends turn so dramatically that the river appears to fold back on itself, creating one of the most recognizable natural landscapes in the country. Much of this scenery lies within the UVAC Special Nature Reserve, a protected area covering thousands of hectares. Beneath the surrounding limestone terrain is another hidden world, an extensive cave system shaped by water over countless years. But Uvjak is especially famous for what flies above it. The reserve is an important habitat for the griffon vulture, one of Europe's largest birds, with a wingspan that can approach 9 feet, or about 2.8 meters. Today, viewpoints overlooking the UVAC meanders attract travelers and photographers seeking one of Serbia's most dramatic panoramas. Between its winding river, vast caves, steep cliffs, and soaring vultures, Uvjak reveals a surprisingly wild side of Serbia that many international visitors never expect to find. Number: Serbia's mysterious Devil's Town. Hidden on the slopes of Radan Mountain in southern Serbia is a landscape so bizarre it almost looks like another planet. Known as Devolja Varos, or Devil's Town, this natural wonder features exactly 202 towering earth formations, some rising up to 15 meters, or nearly 50 feet, and reaching 3 meters in width. Each pillar is crowned by a heavy stone cap, creating the eerie illusion of giant figures standing silently across the mountainside. For generations, locals created legends to explain this strange sight. One famous tale claims the pillars are wedding guests who were mysteriously turned to stone, but science tells an equally fascinating story. Rain gradually washed away layers of softer soil, while the rocks above protected the earth directly beneath them. Wind, sunlight, and temperature changes continued shaping the formations over time, and the landscape is still evolving today. Some pillars change shape, disappear, and new ones may gradually emerge. Devil's Town even reached the top 77 candidates in the global New 7 Wonders of Nature campaign, making this one of Serbia's most unforgettable natural mysteries. Number 11. A hidden medieval monastery in Serbia. Deep in Serbia's mountains and forested valleys stand medieval monasteries that have survived for more than 800 years. Among the most remarkable is Studenica Monastery, founded in the late 12th century by Stefan Nemanja, the founder of the medieval Serbian state. Surrounded by wooded hills, its white marble churches seem almost isolated from the modern world. But Studenica is far more than a beautiful building. Behind its stone walls are extraordinary Byzantine-style frescoes, including masterpieces dating to the early 13th century. The monastery became an important center of medieval Serbian spiritual and cultural life, preserving religious art, architecture, and historical traditions across centuries of dramatic change. In 1986, UNESCO added Studenica Monastery to the World Heritage List, recognizing its exceptional cultural significance. Today, it remains an active Serbian Orthodox monastery, as well as an important heritage destination. Walking through this peaceful complex offers visitors something rare, a chance to experience a place where medieval architecture, living tradition, and Serbia's extraordinary past still exist side by side. Number 10. Serbia gave Rome 16 emperors. Here is a fact that surprises many travelers. According to Serbia's National Tourism Organization, 16 Roman emperors were born in territories that are part of modern-day Serbia. That remarkable number makes much more sense when you look at a map. During the Roman era, this region stood along the empire's crucial Danube frontier, filled with military routes, fortified settlements, and strategically important cities. The most famous name connected to this story is Constantine the Great, who was born in ancient Naissus, present-day Nias, around AD 272. He would become one of the most influential rulers in Roman history. Elsewhere in Serbia, the archaeological complex of Gamzigrad Romuliana reveals another imperial connection. Emperor Galerius built this magnificent fortified palace complex in the late 3rd and early 4th centuries and named it after his mother, Romula. UNESCO added Gamzigrad Romuliana to the World Heritage List in 2007. Today, its surviving gates, palace remains, mosaics, and temples reveal an astonishing truth. Beneath modern Serbia lies a Roman past that once stood near the center of one of history's greatest empires. Number 9. Serbia's 9000 year-old civilization. Long before the Roman Empire existed, people were already building remarkable communities along the Danube in what is now Serbia. One of the most fascinating archaeological sites is Lepenski Vir, where evidence of human settlement reaches back thousands of years. The site is especially associated with communities that flourished around the 7th and 6th millennia BC, making it a remarkable window into prehistoric life in southeastern Europe. Archaeologists uncovered unusual trapezoidal house foundations, carefully organized settlements, burials, and mysterious stone sculptures with striking human-like and fish-like features. The discoveries suggest that the Danube was far more than a source of water. It provided food, transportation, and a natural gathering point for communities adapting to enormous changes in human society. And Lepenski Vir is only part of Serbia's prehistoric story. The later Starcevo and Vinca cultures also left extraordinary archaeological evidence across the region. Together, these sites reveal a surprising side of the country. Serbia's history does not begin with medieval kingdoms or Roman emperors. Its cultural story stretches back roughly 9,000 years to some of Europe's earliest settled communities. Number 8. Where two mighty rivers collide. Belgrade stands at one of Europe's most dramatic geographic crossroads, where the Sava River meets the mighty Danube. From the heights of Belgrade Fortress and Kalemegdan Park, visitors can look directly across the vast confluence, a meeting point that has influenced the city's identity and strategic importance for centuries. The Danube, Europe's second longest river after the Volga, flows for about 2,850 kilometers, or 1,770 miles, from Germany toward the Black Sea. Here in Belgrade, it joins the Sava, beside a city that has repeatedly been shaped by its position between major regions and historical powers. The fortress overlooking the rivers preserves traces of different eras, while the waterfront below reflects a rapidly changing modern capital. Today, these two rivers remain central to everyday life. People walk and cycle along their banks, relax in waterfront areas, and watch boats move across the water. Few European capitals have a setting quite like this. In Belgrade, ancient fortifications, modern neighborhoods, and two enormous rivers meet in a single panorama, revealing why geography has always played such a powerful role in Serbia's capital. Number 7. Belgrade parties on the river. When night falls in Belgrade, some of the city's most distinctive entertainment venues are not found along ordinary streets. They float directly on the water. Known locally as splavovi, these floating venues line parts of the Sava and Danube rivers, creating a nightlife scene that has become closely associated with Serbia's capital. Depending on the venue and season, a splav can be a restaurant, cafe, live music space, or late-night club. During warmer months, the riverfront becomes especially lively as locals and visitors gather beside the water, with city lights reflecting across the rivers. Music ranges from traditional and regional sounds to pop, electronic, rock, and international styles. But Belgrade's nighttime identity is bigger than partying. The rivers also offer evening walks, illuminated views, floating restaurants, and quieter places to experience the city after sunset. The scene has evolved over time, and venues can change or relocate as waterfront regulations develop. Still, the idea remains unusual. In Belgrade, two rivers are not simply landmarks you admire during the day. After dark, they become part of the city's social life. Number 6. Serbia's UNESCO treasures everywhere. For a country of its size, Serbia holds an extraordinary concentration of cultural heritage spanning Roman palaces, medieval monasteries, ancient fortifications, and living traditions. As of 2026, Serbia has 5 properties inscribed on UNESCO's World Heritage List, each revealing a different chapter of the region's long and complex past. Among them is Studenica Monastery, famous for its medieval architecture and Byzantine-style frescoes. Stari Ras and Sopocani preserve important monuments connected to Serbia's medieval history, while Gamzigrad Romuliana reveals the remains of an imperial Roman palace built for Emperor Galerius. UNESCO's list also includes the medieval monuments in Kosovo and the Steći medieval tombstone graveyards, a transnational heritage property shared with neighboring countries. Serbia's heritage also extends beyond monuments. Cultural traditions such as Slava, the Kolo folk dance, singing accompanied by the gusle, and Zlakusa pottery making appear on UNESCO's intangible heritage lists. Together, these sites and traditions reveal something remarkable. Traveling across Serbia can feel like moving through thousands of years of European history in a surprisingly compact area. Number 5. Ancient fortresses guard the Danube. Follow the Danube through Serbia, and massive fortresses begin to appear along its banks, reminders of a time when controlling this river meant controlling one of Europe's most important strategic routes. Romans, medieval rulers, Hungarians, Ottomans, and Habsburgs all left their mark on this region, turning parts of the Danube into a corridor lined with defensive strongholds. One striking example is Ram Fortress, dramatically positioned above the river in eastern Serbia. The present fortress is generally linked to Ottoman Sultan Bayezid II and the late 15th century, although the strategic location had been important long before then. Farther downstream stands the much larger Golubac Fortress, with its towers rising at the entrance to the spectacular Iron Gates Gorge. Today, these fortresses no longer guard armies or imperial frontiers. Instead, they offer visitors panoramic views and a physical connection to centuries of history. Standing above the Danube, it becomes easy to understand why so many powers competed for this land. Serbia was never simply hidden in the Balkans. For centuries, it stood directly on one of the continent's great crossroads. Number 4. Serbia sings its history. Imagine preserving centuries of stories not inside books, but through a single instrument and the human voice. In Serbia, that tradition is closely associated with the gusle, a traditional one-stringed bowed instrument used to accompany epic singing. Its distinctive sound provides the backdrop as a performer, known as a goslar, tells long narrative poems about historical events, legendary figures, and the collective memory of communities. For generations, gusle performances helped transmit stories in an era when oral tradition played a crucial role in preserving cultural knowledge. The performer does more than simply sing. Through rhythm, poetry, and storytelling, the guslar transforms historical memory into a live performance passed from one audience to another. In 2018, singing to the accompaniment of the gusle was inscribed on UNESCO's representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The tradition continues through cultural gatherings, festivals, associations, and family transmission. To an unfamiliar listener, the sound may seem strikingly different from modern music. But in Serbia, the gusle represents something much deeper, a centuries-old way of turning stories, identity, and memory into a living cultural archive. Number 3. Serbia's pottery, made without wheels. In the Serbian village of Zlakusa, near the city of Uzice, an ancient craft continues to survive in the modern world. Here, artisans create traditional pottery using a distinctive hand-building technique rather than relying on the fast-spinning potter's wheel many people might expect. The vessels are shaped from a special mixture of clay and finely ground calcite, giving the finished pottery unique properties. The process requires patience and remarkable skill. Artisans build the vessels by hand, gradually shaping and smoothing the material before firing the finished pieces. Traditionally, Zlakusa pottery has been closely connected with cooking and food preparation, and knowledge of the craft has been passed through generations within local families and workshops. In 2020, UNESCO inscribed Zlakusa pottery making on its representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Today, the tradition remains a powerful example of how old craftsmanship can survive alongside modern manufacturing. For travelers, watching a simple piece of earth slowly become a functional vessel offers a different view of Serbia, one where cultural heritage is not locked behind museum glass, but continues to be shaped by human hands. Number 2. Where East and West collide. Serbia sits at one of Europe's great historical crossroads, and its cities reveal layers left behind by civilizations and empires that passed through the Balkans. Roman ruins, medieval monasteries, Ottoman influences, Habsburg-era architecture, and modern buildings can all be encountered within the same country, creating a cultural landscape that is difficult to place into a single category. In Belgrade, the fortress overlooking the Sava and Danube reflects centuries of strategic importance, while neighborhoods across the rivers reveal a different Central European architectural character. Travel north to Novi Sad, and elegant streets and colorful facades reflect strong Habsburg-era influences. Head south or east, and travelers encounter Roman archaeological sites, Orthodox monasteries, traditional villages, and traces of Ottoman rule. This mixture is one reason Serbia can feel surprisingly different from one destination to the next. Rather than belonging neatly to an imagined East or West, the country has absorbed influences from both while developing an identity of its own. Exploring Serbia is therefore more than traveling across geography. In many places, it feels like crossing between historical worlds without ever leaving the country. Number 1. The Serbia tourists rarely see. After ancient fortresses, mysterious landscapes, and centuries-old traditions, perhaps the most revealing side of Serbia is the simplest one: everyday life. Step away from famous landmarks, and the country unfolds through crowded markets, neighborhood bakeries, public squares, riverside walks, and cafes where conversations can stretch far beyond a quick cup of coffee. In Belgrade, the streets move with the energy of a modern European capital, while smaller towns and villages often follow a noticeably slower rhythm. Traditional open-air markets known as pijac remain part of daily life, selling everything from fresh produce to local specialties. Cafe culture is highly visible, and public spaces become natural meeting points for friends and families. This contrast between old and new may be what makes Serbia most fascinating. Medieval monasteries and Roman ruins exist alongside apartment blocks, busy shopping streets, contemporary music, and modern technology. Yet no monument can fully explain a country. To understand Serbia, you have to watch how people actually live. And sometimes, the most unforgettable travel experience is not discovering something shocking, but seeing an ordinary day in a place completely different from home. Serbia is a land where ancient history, breathtaking nature, and living traditions come together in unexpected ways. But which of these 15 incredible facts surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed discovering the real Serbia with us, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating journeys around the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.